Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down one of the most iconic modern physiques on the internet, David Blade. The question is simple: how aesthetic is David Blade really? And we're not just going off subjectivity here, we're putting the complete physique formula to work, the system that me and Chronic Am have been building over the past few months, and we're excited to finally showcase it through detailed physique ratings. This formula identifies the most broadly appealing physiques to both men and women, but that doesn't mean it's immune to subjectivity. Some may prefer the athletic physiques over the aesthetic ones, and vice versa. But in general, both archetypes are generally impressive and possess their own advantages and disadvantages. And that's what this formula is designed for. It can be useful for those looking for athletic and functional strength, or those seeking physical enhancements and IFBB Pro cards, or a balance of somewhere in between. And this is just the beginning. Even bigger updates and announcements are coming in the weeks ahead, so stay tuned. This formula breaks body aesthetics in three major categories: harmony and structural assessments, muscle insertions and bellies, miscellaneous attributes. Physique metrics evaluate overall structure and proportional balance. This category covers proportions, overall frame, height, weight, FFMI, body fat percentage, and all upper anterior measurements, such as shoulder to waist, anterior aperture, and many more. Insertions category looks at the muscle bellies from a visual standpoint. Round muscle complexes without any gaps are favorable in this context, with definition between muscle groups. Miscellaneous attributes look into immeasurable aspects, for example, vascularity, tan, redness, body hair, posture, skin laxity, symmetry, etc. Keep in mind that the exact percentages and finer technical details won't be fully disclosed. For obvious reasons, we want to protect the integrity of the formula and prevent people from misusing it or altering it to fit their own narratives. Let's get into it. To begin with the key measurements, David Blade is 74 inches tall, which is about 6'2" or 188 centimeters in the metric system. At his peak condition, he weighed around 200 pounds or 90 kilograms and maintained an estimated body fat of 7.5%, appearing extremely lean. This resulted in a fat-free max index of 23.75. These numbers provide him with a strong foundation for achieving high aesthetic scores. Looking at some of his proportions, his shoulder to waist ratio is at 2.001 and his chest to waist ratio is 1.352. His anterior aperture measures at roughly 1.15 and he has a V angle of 71.3 degrees. Additionally, his shoulder to neck ratio is 4.26 and his back taper comes in at 63.9 degrees. In terms of body segmentation, his proportions could be slightly more balanced. His upper third accounts for 33.9%, the middle third 35%, and the lower third 31.1%. However, his arm proportions are particularly strong at 82.9%. For archetype classification, David Blade achieved an 88.84% score, placing him in the natural boundary category. His aesthetic scoring was slightly lower at 87.97%. In this evaluation system, only the highest scoring category, in his case natural boundary, is considered. In the structural calculator, he scored 82.95%. When all metrics were combined, this resulted in an overall physique harmony score of 87.37%. Now turning to muscle insertions and bellies. It's widely recognized that David Blade is especially gifted in this area. His chest and quads in particular rank among the highest tier. This category is divided into 5 tiers, with tier 5 representing the elite level. For arms, Blade places in tier 4. With a slightly longer bicep tendon and a tricep long head that could be more dominant, he could easily qualify for tier 5. Regarding his shoulders, his clavicles are solid, but not as wide as someone like Jeff's side. His delts don't naturally overpower his frame. To reach tier 5 here, you'd need broader clavicles and longer lateral delt insertions to create a more dramatic shoulder cap effect. In the abdominal category, the reason he doesn't reach tier 5 is fairly clear. His abs lack ideal symmetry and don't have the deep definition typically seen at the highest level. As for calves, tier 5 would require lower calf insertions and a longer medial gastrocnemius muscle belly. So where does that leave him overall in terms of muscle insertions and bellies? David Blade scores an exceptional 8.5, placing him at the beginning of tier 5 for this category of insertions and muscle bellies. When it comes to physique attractiveness, miscellaneous attributes can significantly influence how the body is perceived. Even though they don't change muscle size or bone structure, they strongly affect visual representation and overall aesthetic impact. One key example is having a moderate tan. A tan enhances contrast, which can create the illusion of a leaner and more defined physique. It increases visual depth by emphasizing shadows, making muscles such as the abs, chest, and delts appear fuller and more pronounced. It also promotes a more even skin tone, reducing visual distractions like patchiness. This is why competitive bodybuilders apply tanning products before stepping on stage, and why many fitness influencers maintain a tan look year-round, and also why muscle characters in Hollywood movies are typically tan. Other attributes within this category will be covered in future videos. This category is divided into 6 tiers rather than 5, with tier 6 representing the highest possible ranking. For miscellaneous attributes, David Blade got an amazing score of 9.31. Points were deducted primarily because he is rarely seen with a tan, and as mentioned earlier, tanning can significantly enhance a physique's visual impact. Overall, David Blade got a final score of 8.8. Similar to a facial rating scale, scoring above a 9 is extremely difficult. In David Blade's case, his harmony score could potentially be slightly higher if evaluated using a more optimal image. For that reason, I would place his adjusted range between 8.6 and 9. It's worth noting that it will be extremely difficult to find optimal pictures as the ones we want to make evaluations for famous people in general. If you guys are still watching at this point, I can only assume that you're genuinely really interested in this topic. Introducing Sculptor AI, an application that me, Chronicam, and our team have been working on. This application is designed to calculate the ratios I just showed you and much more in a faster and more efficient way, but it is not limited to just that. In this app, you will have the ability to do unlimited physique analysis, including your own, 25 plus body ratios, archetype comparison. So in our system, we have a physique matrix that has 5 archetypes. So what this means is your body can fall within 5 categories: aesthetic, athletic, lean muscular, natural boundary, and balanced. And then we also have a structural score. A key component of this app will be the ability to track progress over time. You guys will also have access to an AI chat where you can ask some questions about physique, how to improve, get workout plans, etc. You'll also have access to detailed PDF reports. You have scientific landmark annotations, and obviously you have the symmetry and proportional analysis. So let's begin. So we'll be using Conor McGregor, not for any specific reason, and we're not going to be focused on his score or anything. I just want to show you guys the app. So we put his stats here. He's 174 centimeters, which is like 5'8" and something. He's 155 pounds, and we'll put his body fat percentage at roughly 11%. DEXA scan is preferred, but you guys can use the mirror. We have a nice body fat guy here that works pretty well. But we'll have a more detailed one, each given body fat percentage, like let's say 9%, 11%, 13, 14, etc. But that's just to show you guys the app anyway. So, and the app will give you the projected FFMI. Then you click on initiate analysis. This is very important. You guys are going to use pictures like this, where the subject is standing like this. This will be the most optimal. And for me and Chronic, when we do our manual ratings of celebrities, it's going to be harder for us because we have to find pictures like this, and when we cannot find pictures like this, we have to do our best judgment here to conclude the analysis and do the measurements. But for you guys that are going to use the app, this is not an issue. You can just take pictures like this and it will be okay and accurate. So the app gives you a guide when you upload pictures: no poor posture, no side twisting, no low or high angles, no harsh shadows. And then you follow the instructions here and you do the landmarks. So I'm just going to do this quick. Once the landmarks are captured, it will ask you to do the back profile. And again here, I didn't find any picture like that for Conor McGregor, so I went with this one. And again here, you can skip this and then you can have the option to put don't show this again, because I understand how this could get annoying. Here is very practical too, just a few landmarks, and right there, and right there. And after all is complete, you just click generate analysis report, and there you go. So this is what it gives you. So based on the physique matrix, Conor McGregor scored the most in lean muscular, and on the structural analysis you have the scores. Scores very well for legs. The main measurements you're going to have here, like the shoulder to waist, chest to waist, shoulder to neck, anterior aperture, the angle, and it gives you a score of how good this score is. For example, the clavicle to waist ratio, Conor scores almost perfectly, 9.9 out of 10. And you can scroll to the back as well, it shows the back taper angle and the lat positioning. And then when you go to the dashboard, you have the latest analysis in here. In the future, you're going to be able to generate protocols based on the results you get. So obviously the app is not finished yet, and it's going to enter beta pretty soon. But obviously you're going to have the ability to see the progress. You're going to have training protocols, workout logs. You can log your workouts in here, and you have the page for the physique matrix too. Honestly, Conor is very balanced. So he scores very similar within the categories. We have guys that, for example, score 90% in aesthetic, but then score like 65% in athletic. And in the future, there will be more information here. But yeah, guys, for now, this is it. I just wanted to show you guys the app, and I think a lot of you guys will be interested in this. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know in the comments and suggest who you would like to see being analyzed next. Road to 1%, signing out.